gentlemen, welcome to the main event.
Let's get ready to rumble! This one by Mattingly. Oh, hang on to the roof. Montana looking, wrong in the end zone. 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Little roller up along first. Behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight and the Mets win it.
Yes! Oh, yes! Welcome back. This is Sports and Swords, episode 172. It is a Friday morning. Normally we go live on Saturday mornings at the end of the week, but we got stuff to do. So we are going to live a little bit earlier than normal, this time at 9:55. We don't typically go live before 10. It's usually 10-ish, but I think 9:55 falls under the ish. So if you like our videos, make sure you go and give them the thumbs up. You can click on the subscribe button so that every time you go live, you are notified. And you can also find Sports and Swords anywhere podcasts are played, or visit our website at www.sportsandsorts.libsyn.com. And of course, I am one of your hosts. My name is Shane Moore.
And I'm the Bry Man.
And you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ShaneandtheBryman, or on Twitter at ShaneandBryman, where we post all our videos and other newsworthy topics. And lastly, if you comment during the show, we will try and get it on the show. And today, what we are going to be talking about is you get an extension, everyone gets an extension. So many extensions in the MLB. We'll be touching on a few of those, and also Jordan Peele's Us comes out tonight, but the Bry Man has already seen it, and he will give you his thoughts on it. And lastly, we will get into the book Inside the Empire. Some excerpts were released, and well, they were getting a little bit dirty. It's getting a little dirty and a little dark, and we're gonna get into that. So we got a great show. Let's go.
You are listening to Sports and Swords with Shane and the Bry Man.
All right. So, as I had mentioned, everybody lately is getting an extension. I mean, we have Eloy Jimenez, Chicago White Sox. This is record breaking because he is hasn't even played a game yet. So he is going to be getting extended. Mike Trout gets the awesome extension. I think probably one that I would like to talk about a little bit. Mm-hmm. We have Ryan Presley. He gets extended. Alex Bregman gets extended. Brandon Lowe gets extended. Jose Leclerc gets extended. Mike Mikolas gets extended. Nolan Arenado, Aaron Hicks, Jose Martinez, Luis Severino, Jorge Polanco, Max Kepler. So many extensions. And then we also have Paul Goldschmidt, who just got extended,
And Blake Snell.
So this is just tremendous about for many reasons. The youngsters are starting to get paid early, which is great. The MLB is finding ways to kind of I think are going to be saving themselves money over the long haul, because by extending these people earlier, they are not going to have to sign these $400 to $500 million contracts over the long term, unless these actual athletes pan out. And if they pan out to the level that they are supposed to pan out, then you can extend them because you've kind of figured out what they're worth. Yeah. But they're going to actually be paying them a little bit more in the short term, but hopefully not as much over the long term.
My favorite part about all of this is that there's a couple things. One, these teams are, and I love when this happens, because even though I'm a Yankee fan, and so many Yankee fans are just like, well, Yankee fans adore free agency, so we just want to pluck all these players from other teams. It's actually not true.
Yeah.
Real Yankee fans want to grow their talent from within and take care of those guys. And what I like about what we're seeing here is that these teams are taking care of their players and they are retaining them. They are not going to allow these guys to hit free agency. And I know that maybe takes a little bit of, steam out of the winter, the hot stove. But you know what? I'd rather see that. I'd rather see teams extend their guys, take care of your players. And the other thing I love about it is that they're doing it at what are probably fair market value contracts, but they're not obscene contracts. They're really, you look at what some of these guys got. So they just extended, it was called Paul Goldschmidt given 5 years and 110, and Blake Snell.
Wasn't it 130?
Oh,
110?
I thought it was 110 or 113 or something like that. And then you got Blake Snell getting 5 and 50, which, by the way, that is just a tremendous contract. And I'll tell you what,
for someone who's only done it 1 year.
And the domino. Well, but I think the domino fell at the beginning of this hot stove season when Aaron Nola got extended by the Phillies at a similar contract, and you get him extended, and then next thing you know, Severino gets extended, and now you got Blake Snell getting extended. And these guys, if you look at their record, I mean, Blake Snell won the Cy Young; he had a great year last year. But if you look at those three guys, their records are kind of all in the same ballpark. I mean, they're different pitchers, but results-wise, they're very productive. They're giving you ace-like stuff. And look at the money that was given out for like those three guys.
Yep.
It's not that obscene.
No.
And you're going to have these guys. I don't know if any of them got extended into their 30s. Snell maybe will be 30 when this contract expires. So this is like, and you know what? And I also think that the players and their agents are smart here too, because I think that they see a potential collective bargaining agreement issue coming, and they want to make sure they get paid before there's a possible work stoppage. So, but all around, good stuff, good extensions. I was so excited. Even though Paul Goldschmidt is one of my favorite players, and I kind of wanted him on the Yankees, I am so excited he's staying in the Cardinals. And the biggest reason why, because again, he's one of my favorite players, I desperately want, and I'm going to get it. I want that Paul Goldschmidt light blue. I think they call it the throwback victory jersey that just says St. Louis across the chest with the Cardinals on the back. And I'm going to wait until next year to get it when Nike has the authentic jersey contracts for Major League Baseball. So next year's jerseys will be Nike. So I'm gonna, because I want to get a Yankee authentic again, because I haven't got one in a while. But I want to wait until Nike has the contract, because I want to see like what Nike does with the swoosh and everything, like where they put it and all that stuff. So, but again, like just overall though, very happy with these extensions. I'm so glad to see these guys staying with their teams and these teams taking care of their own. It's not the hot mess that's going on in the NFL with, not only guys signing ridiculous free agent contracts, getting paid money that they are nowhere near worth, but on top of that, guys getting traded constantly after you have general managers like Gettleman saying, we didn't sign Odell Beckham Jr. to trade him. And fast forward to last week, well, we traded him to the Cleveland Browns. Yeah. So good on MLB and good on the players. And maybe this will lead to some possible repair work. Maybe between the players, because I think the players are pissed at owners right now. But you know what? Owners are starting to shell out some money. These players are signing these contracts. Maybe some goodwill can come of some of this.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on. And even though they're starting to pay the minor league players more, because there was, I think the Blue Jays started that, where they're starting to pay them a little bit more so that they can actually live, while trying to play this game, and trying to make it to the big show. But I mean, what it really comes down to is, yes, this is awesome for a lot of these players, but these contracts are still very nerve-wracking, I think, for the teams, and they should be. I think the Goldschmidt contract could potentially be a bomb. I think because he has shown over the last couple years deep slumps, where he has been slumped. Like he slumped, I think, for the first 2 months of the season last year. And he ended up having a good season, and he actually did it the year before too. He's had a couple of times where if those slumps last a little bit longer, that's going to turn out to be a bad season. Now, he's in a lineup this year where he should produce. He should put up numbers.
Yeah,
but I'm a little nervous about that particular contract over the long term. I think that could be a little nerve-wracking.
I do. And I will say the thing that's a little bit curious about that one is that they extended a guy who, performed for another team last year. It's not like he played out the final year and then the Cardinals said, "You were great. You were awesome here. We absolutely want you to be a part of this franchise for the next half decade. Here's your 5-year extension." But I think from the Cardinals' perspective too, they're probably thinking like, look at the back of this guy's baseball card. Ultimately, he's going to produce. Let's just pay him now. Let's pay him now and not let him get to free agency.
He's going to be good.
If he gets to free agency,
it's just a matter of how good, and that's there is a potential. I mean, Matt Carpenter is actually a little banged up right now, like a little bit. He's had his back issues, but there's a potential that Matt Carpenter could potentially have better years than him.
Sure.
That's, and with the amount of money that you just shelled out, is it really worth it? I don't know. It's just, but Matt Carpenter is much older too, so.
Yeah, and I still don't look at it as a bad contract. Paul Goldschmidt is still in his late 20s. I still think it's a good deal.
Is he?
For them.
Is he 29? I thought he was 30.
Oh, maybe he is. I thought he was. He could be. I thought he was 29, but. But either way, I don't think it's a bad contract. I mean, at worst, he's going to be into his 34, 35 season. Mm-hmm. I mean, at worst. So I expect him to produce there, and I think that'll be a good environment for him. We all know St. Louis is probably the best baseball town in America. So, fans are great there. I think it'll be a great fit for him. But good on the pitchers, too, because as far as I know, none of these guys, especially like Nola, Severino, and Snell, I don't think any of them have had
31.
Was he 31? Okay, all right. So this takes him to his 36th season. So there's a little bit of risk there. But, I mean, look, Bryce Harper just signed a 10-year deal. It's going to take him to his age 36 season. So, and I would argue that Paul Goldschmidt plays a much less taxing physical position at first base. And you know what? He's 36 to me is just not, that's just not the end of the
Harper's
road
in a better hitter's park now, though.
For guys like this. And the other thing is Harper plays physically very hard.
He does. But his
contract would worry me more. Oh, of course he's in a better park, but everything about the way Bryce Harper plays the game is violent, though. Paul Goldschmidt is. Oh, I
have said over and over again. I think that last 4 or 5 years of his contract could be.
It has the potential for disaster. It could be.
Now
it could be.
We can look at the other side of the spectrum, where you have Mike Trout. I think Mike Trout, and I think even Damian has even kind of mentioned this or touched on this. It's either on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Shane and the Bryman, which also goes to the Twitter handle as well. I think he's actually touched on this. I don't know if it was on there or if he was during our show, but he was actually talking about how the Trout contract could actually he could actually make it worth it just over the first 4 to 5 years of that contract. Because if he puts up the numbers that he consistently puts up, that he could potentially make the money that is worth the amount of money, for the war and all that stuff that gets, that they say he could actually make that money in the first 4 or 5 years of his contract. Now, it could be completely horrible again at the back end of that contract because he's just not putting up the numbers. He's not able to play center field like he was able to. He's getting more banged up because he has been getting more banged up over the last couple of years. He hasn't really played full seasons, especially last year. He was injured for 2 months. So if that happens on a regular basis, that's gonna be rough. But if he continues to put up MVP type seasons, like last year, he was an MVP candidate. He missed 2 months of the season.
I believe since 2012, he's never finished lower than 4th in MVP voting.
He is a stud. He is a generational stud.
Yes, now there's that term.
And that's why he's getting the money that
phrase applies to him.
Yes,
that's a generational player. That is it's
the players that are
Willie Mays generational type player.
Randy Johnson can deserve that title, I believe, because he was generational. There was not a big unit freak.
Oh
that
sure. He was
could have pinpoint kind of accuracy with a slider, and he had multiple pitches. He was a freak of nature, and he did it for over a decade.
I would say with Trout too. The other thing is, look, I mean, I know on the surface you see that contract, 12 years, $430 million. He's going to get something like $35 million a year, but I don't know, like that didn't make me bat an eye. I think it's because that's exactly what I expected him to get. The other thing with Trout, I think you brought up a good point. I would say the first half of that contract is gold. He's going to produce. And he's going to win probably another MVP. And if he does it, he's going to be in the top 5. The one thing with him is that I truly believe that the gap between the best player in baseball and the second best player in baseball is wider than the gap in any other sport between the best player in that sport. Because we know Trout is far and away the best player in baseball. If I had to even put a name at number 2, it would either be Mookie Betts or Jose Altuve, probably, would be in the conversation. I'd probably say Betts is like my number 2, and maybe Altuve is 3. But honestly, to me, the gap between Trout and Betts is pretty big. And I like Mookie Betts. That's a great player. Great player. But I think the gap is big. I think the gap between those two guys is very big, and I don't think the gap is that big in any other sport between the top 2 players.
Yeah.
Or the top 5 players. Trout is just he is just amazing. He really is, and I hope that Angels fans. I mean, obviously they know he's going to be there now for the remainder of his career. And I tell you, I hope they pack that stadium because I'm going to actually make it a point to try and see Mike Trout play as much as I can. Because I don't want to say it's like watching Jordan because I think we need to see Mike Trout win some championships, which I also hope happens because you always want the best player in any sport to be a champion. You really do. It's important.
The Gretzky's, those kind of players. If they don't go out with a championship, like that stinks.
I was so happy.
Griffey, like that stinks.
Yeah, it does. It hurts. At Marino, it hurts. I mean, I was so happy last year when Alex Ovechkin won a championship because Alex Ovechkin is one of the, if not the best pure goal scorer of our time, of the modern era in hockey, and the man has his title. Mm-hmm. He's got his championship. It cannot be taken from him. Mike Trout is far and away the best player in baseball. It would be a shame and a crime if he is not a champion by the end of his career. He doesn't need to win 5, just get 1. Just be able to say, and plus, as a fan, don't we want to see this guy in October? Don't you want to see him on that big stage?
Yeah.
Now, the question I have is, I know the Angels throw money around, and they've got money. I just hope that with this contract, it's not so prohibitive to their, ability to be flexible and bring in other guys.
Yeah.
Because Ohtani, as much as I think we both like Ohtani and what he brings to the table, the problem with him is he going to be an injury risk throughout his career? I mean, he's young, but is he going to stay healthy? Because Trout needs him desperately in that lineup. Desperately. I mean, Pujols is a 0 factor anymore.
Oh, no. I mean he's been
a 0 factor for a while.
A really bad player over the last couple of years.
Right. And you basically have to play him because that contract that you knew was going to bite you in the ass in the last few years has come to fruition.
The sad thing is you don't need to play him. He's actually so bad.
No, I guess you're right.
You would actually benefit you to just drop him.
He's like Jacoby Ellsbury at this point, except worse because I think the dollars are more.
But his, if you look at his WAR and all that kind of stuff, and his OPS plus and stuff like that, it's so below average.
It's really bad.
It's like you could put anybody else in that spot, and actually improve as a team.
Yeah, and he'll hit 20 home runs by accident just because of the power, but. He's Adam Dunn, but like worse.
Oh, it's so much worse. He doesn't walk anymore.
Much worse.
Like
he doesn't walk. Right,
he strikes out more. Like he's nowhere near the player as he was. Such a shell.
Speed is so slow. He just looks like he's lumbering through the strike zone. It's really hard.
I would love for him to make like a comeback, but like he had so many foot injuries and everything like that.
You know what though? If he did make a comeback, you'd immediately have to say, "Wow, he's got to be juicing," because
oh my god, yeah.
There's just no other. That just doesn't seem feasible.
He's done. He's probably done.
Yeah, he is. I would say he's
and it's one of those that it stinks because he was such a good player for such a long time, and you really just want him to succeed. But at this point in time, if you're looking at a club perspective, you should just drop him and just pick up the money. Just pick up the money, put somebody else in there. You will be better for it. I'm sorry.
I mean, I've wanted the Yankees to do that with Ellsbury just to eat it and free up the roster spot.
Yeah, I mean, it's the thing is that they don't. What are they going to do? I mean, they already have 47 outfielders.
I know.
I mean, like, if he cuts in, what are they going to play him? Like, I don't know.
We don't have to worry about Clint Frazier making the team because he's absolutely embarrassing himself this spring. So
it's not great.
That's not what you want.
It's not great.
I have not had. I was texting the Yankee group the other day. I have not had good luck recently with my recent quote unquote favorite Yankees in the last few years between Rob Refsnyder and Clint Frazier. Yeah, between Refsnyder and Clint Frazier, it's been a rough go for me since Hideki Matsui.
You're gonna latch on to Tyler Wade soon.
Yeah, no. You know what? Maybe I just play it safe and go with Judge. Just
go
say,
Florial.
Judge. He got hurt too.
So what? Just go with Florial. It's at least a safer bet.
Oh, he's definitely a safer bet. I'm excited for him. I can't wait for him to push Aaron Hicks into left field next year.
All right. So that's pretty much it. I mean, I would like to know what anybody else thinks. If they think that any of these large contracts, like the Trout or the Harper or the Nolan Arenado, the Bregmans, all these contracts that happen.
That was a good contract too, Bregman.
Right, but I would like to know if anybody thinks that these are just dumb contracts and you
I don't
think that
they
it's
are.
a waste of money.
I think a lot of these were very smart.
I think the Bryce Harper one might bite people, might bite them, but it could end up being huge. Like that's the thing is that the high risk, there's big time risk, but there's also huge reward.
Harper only because of the way he plays. See, now, you know what's funny about the Manny Machado one, too, is because Machado his contract will expire when he's 36. Mm-hmm. I actually think that contract looks, in hindsight, it might not be that bad because the guy admittedly doesn't play hard. But you know what? He's been a picture of health the early part of his career. He does not get hurt. And you could say the same thing about Cano. Cano dogged it a lot. But the guy stayed on the field.
He dogged it, but he still played hard. They both play hard. They might not bust it down the line every time, but you know what? They're probably in the cage for 4 hours before the game and 4 hours after the game.
The problem with Machado is he just should have never said, "I'm not Johnny Hustle." He just should have kept that to himself. That's all.
They work hard. It's just not. It doesn't always transpire on the field when you want him to, a ball that's hit to the shortstop. You want him running as hard as he can down the line. Well, yeah. That's not always a happen.
And look, again, the other thing with Machado too is he's going to be part of the best infield in baseball in 2 years. So, I mean, that infield is just
could be really good. Could be. And you know what? He could be the second best player on the left side of that infield.
Yes, he could because Tatis Jr. Yeah, he's a.
And that could happen soon, within the next couple of years. It could happen real soon. Yeah. All right, so let's move on. Let's get into.
Where do you think you're going? I'm going to sort it out.
Because we got a little bit of horror action to talk about. A man, Jordan Peele, who's known for his comedy, loves to direct horror, loves horror. That's his favorite genre, he says. He loves that genre. I am not a huge fan. I used to enjoy, like all the slasher films, like the Freddy's of the world. That was my favorite. Nightmare on Elm Street is my favorite. I love Scream. Those are great films, great franchises. But he is coming out and he's kind of been on fire. Obviously he won an Academy Award, but he just came out with his newest movie. It's got a 99% on Rotten Tomatoes. It debuts tonight, officially. You've already seen it.
I did. I saw it on Tuesday night.
What are your thoughts? I won't be going to see this movie. The furthest I go into horror right now is Medea's Halloween.
I actually want to read a tweet to sort of set up my overall review of this movie. And it's a tweet from myself. So I'm going to Austin Powers this and say, allow myself to quote myself.
Excellent.
So I actually tweeted this at Jordan Peele. Saw Us last night. Absolutely amazing film. Great story. Wonderful acting. Tremendously subtle homages. And another creative breath of fresh air for the horror/thriller genre. Your mind is a creepy thing of beauty. I loved this. I absolutely loved this movie. I'm coming in hot here with a Cinebros 9.0 out of 10.
Ooh, what did you give Get Out?
I think I gave it a 9 out of 10.
Wow.
Maybe even 9.5. I don't remember what I gave it. I know it was at least 9. I loved Get Out. Because, again, what I really like about Peele is he is breathing this new creativity into this horror genre. It really reminds me in so many ways of like maybe he's our new age M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh, don't say that.
Because
this is the problem. So that,
but I loved M. Night Shyamalan.
I know, but he had. So this is what happened with M. Night.
I mean,
Shyamalan,
you hope it doesn't peter out like M. Night Shyamalan.
So this is what M. Night Shyamalan came in as, supposedly the next Steven Spielberg. That
actually, it was kind of considered the next Hitchcock.
People. I mean, he even himself comes out and said how people were calling him the next Steven Spielberg so much,
right. And that's
it got to his head a little bit. It got to his head. I mean, that's a huge burden to bear. I mean, that's a lot of weight to put on your shoulders. Yeah. And then he had 3 hits in a row between The Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, the what was it? The Signs. Those were great. Great
The Village.
films.
I loved The Village. I know a lot of people didn't.
That is kind of when people started to be like,
but his big 3 are Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, and Signs.
Yes,
those are the big. That's the big 3.
And then he went from there, and he made The Village, and he did The Last Airbender, and like things just really started.
Then he did that, and The Happening.
There really started to just fall off.
There were some duds.
Now he's made a comeback finally with like The Visit.
The Visit? I thought The Visit was okay.
That was kind of where people started to be like, oh, this is
wasn't
good.
Bad. It wasn't
good.
And
then Split, and now he's going into Glass.
Split was great. Glass took a bit of a beating, but I liked Glass. Actually.
I haven't seen it, so I haven't seen
Glass.
I haven't seen Split either, so that's why I haven't watched Glass.
Split
yet.
was tremendous.
Yeah.
But look, getting back to this movie, this movie had me hooked from start to finish. It was so.
I just don't want to see anybody dub Jordan Peele as the next anything, because it seems like he's doing his own thing. And let him do his own thing, and I hope this is not a petering out thing. And he's still got some genius working on in his head.
This movie also had a tremendous soundtrack, by the way. Good mid-90s rap soundtrack. Really, really, really awesome. I think as a DJ, I think you'll appreciate the soundtrack quite a bit. Because it's probably a lot of stuff that you used back in the day.
Maybe.
But I'll tell you what, I loved this story. So it starts out, the movie starts out with the main character, with I think is it Lupita Nyong'o, I believe is her name.
Yeah.
It starts
Very
off with her.
Actress.
She's really great. She's really great because I mean she's playing a dual role in this movie.
Oh really?
Well, yeah, because
I don't know the movie.
all right.
I haven't watched any of the. I watched part of one of the trailers.
It starts out.
It starts off
in 1986. She's a kid. Mm-hmm. She's at like a carnival on a beach in Santa Cruz with her mom and dad, and she gets lost for like a few minutes and ends up in this like carnival funhouse that's down on the beach. And she's walking through the funhouse and it's got mirrors and all that stuff. And then she backs into basically herself, because the movie is it's a horror movie about this family who is being stalked and attacked by themselves. Again, it's the Austin Powers thing. Allow us to kill us. But so basically she backs into this girl and turns around and it's like she's looking in the mirror. She's like facing herself, but it was not looking into a mirror. And then you fast forward to present day. She's got her own family. She's married to this guy. The husband is great, by the way. He's hilarious. Oh, really? He is just so fun. I loved him. I can't remember who played him, but he's really, really good. So she takes her family. She's got 2 kids, and she takes her family on a vacation. They actually end up back at that same beach, and she's completely creeped out because she does not want to go to the beach. But the husband convinces her to go, and next thing you know, and then there's this weird guy on the beach, and her son walks up to this guy who's kind of
don't spoil it now.
I'm just trying to set up a little, and then I'll leave it alone.
Okay.
But basically, walks up to this guy who's got his arms outstretched like a scarecrow, and from that point on, that's when later that night they're back at the house. So they get through. She gets through the beach thing okay, but the kid gets lost for a second, and so she freaks because she doesn't know where he is. And he comes back, and they get back to the house that night, and then late that night, the kid looks out. The daughter looks out the window. Or the kid looks out the window, the son, And he's like, there's a family outside in the driveway. And that's where I'll kind of leave it, because the family is us. But I'm not going to tell you, who they are or what they are or anything like that. I don't want to get into that. But the way the movie played out was tremendous. I loved the homages. There were quite a few, at least ones that I feel like I picked up on. There's an obvious Jaws one. I mean, it manifests itself in a couple of different ways. One, the kid is actually the son is actually wearing a Jaws shirt.
Nice.
But the scene on the beach sort of reminded me of the Jaws scene when Alex Kinter's mom can't find him, and she's like freaking out and looking around. I think it was done as an homage.
Alex,
to that.
Little known fact. Alex,
little Kinder boy,
looks like me when I was a kid.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
My brother always says that. He's always like, dude, it's like you can eat my jaws.
Yeah. No. And then I thought there were some homages to Nightmare on Elm Street. To subtle again. I thought there were homages to believe it or not, and now I can't remember the damn scene, but I remember when I was watching it, I was like, oh, that's like an homage to Tremors. Do you remember the movie Tremors with Kevin Bacon and Fred Ward?
Yeah.
I was a big fan of that movie, by the way. But I felt like there was an homage to Tremors, and I was like, oh, that's cool.
Was there an homage to Police Academy?
I don't think there was.
No, then I probably won't. How about was it Titanic?
No. Turn that crap off. There was definitely, I felt like, an homage to Halloween. And actually, my friend Robin, who I went with, she picked up on that too. And I think there was an overall kind of homage to M. Night Shyamalan, to be honest, just in terms of the way that the movie kind of played itself out, without getting into the ending or anything like that. But look, if you are even a remote fan, if you liked Get Out, you should absolutely go see this. If you like the horror genre movie and you want to see something a little different and creative, go see the movie. If you just like good movies, go see the movie. It's great. It's thrilling. It's riveting. I was into it from start to finish. You can't go wrong. And you know what? There weren't a lot of jump scares, which was kind of cool. It didn't require that. It didn't require that element to... There might have been like... I really actually wouldn't even say there were any. I never was like, oh, I was never like taken aback like that at any point during the... it was not a jump scare movie. It didn't rely on that, for a cheap thrill. It's just a great, great movie. That 99% is very warranted.
Okay.
Very warranted. Go see this. Hats off to Jordan Peele, who has done it again. I would have never thought, 5 or 6 years ago, especially when I was really into watching Key and Peele, that Jordan Peele would become one of the great horror minds of our generation. And I hope to God he keeps this going. Because between Get Out and Us...
Of horror in general.
Yeah, I am, and it's such a great movie.
All right, let's move on to... we're gonna get out of there. Great review and great rating from the Bry Man on the old Us. I'm not gonna go see it, but I will take your word for it that it is very good. Maybe I'll pick up the soundtrack at some point. All right, let's check out the soundtrack. It's good. We have about 5 minutes left, and we're gonna get into
the state of the Yankees.
Kind of.
Sort of.
The state of the Yankees from last year, and
further back
before.
Yeah.
So let's get into just real quick some of the excerpts and stuff like that about the Inside the Empire. We will talk about it a little bit.
Inside the Empire: The True Power Behind the New York Yankees.
Comes out next week, I think. On Tuesday or something like that. 26th.
Yeah, yes, I think so. Yes, because it's on Isabel's birthday. Yeah, that's right. So it was written by Bob Klapisch and Paul Solotaroff. Mm-hmm. And this, so some of these excerpts, and I know you sent me this thing that some guy at Barstool.
They're such maniacs.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that
absolute maniacs.
I'm sorry.
It was like it started off kind of tame, and then he just like you could tell like he was just festering and building up, like his hatred for the Yankees and Jeter, and for some reason,
Right.
and just totally started going bananas, and to the point of where he was going to side with A-Rod over
Right,
Jeter.
you made it right. Once you start siding with A-Rod over Jeter, you've lost me.
Yeah.
I mean, and look,
anything in life.
I have said for years that I don't think Jeter is anywhere near as good a guy as he's made out to be. I think we all know, and the way that he handled things when he started with the Marlins, I ripped him a lot. I think on those shows.
I didn't, because I think that's what an owner would do.
Right. There was, because I think there was one guy that he had let go, and I was like, what, he didn't have the cojones to fire that guy himself. He made his lackey go and do the work.
Yeah.
That did not sit well with me. But this book, there are a couple of stories that some excerpts that they've pulled here. And I'll tell you, man, they throw some shade at Derek Jeter.
Yeah.
They really have made him out to be a monster, kind of, in a way. And I'm not, you know what's funny? I can't say I'm surprised. I really am not, because I've always sort of had a funky feeling about Derek Jeter.
Yeah, but I think it's the thing I don't understand is that why does it matter? Like he was throwing him because he had a brand.
Oh, I don't think it matters.
It doesn't really matter.
I don't think it matters. I think these guys are writers who wrote a book. They want to make a buck.
Yeah.
So they're throwing some salacious crap on the wall, and they're hoping that it sticks. Now, look, I don't know much about Solitaire, but Bob Clappish is a pretty reputable baseball. Been around for a long time. Mm-hmm. But look, he's trying to make a living like anybody else. So, of course, this stuff's going to come out. I don't actually know if I'm going to read this book. Probably not.
I probably will.
I'm more interested in reading Howard Stern's book.
See, I'm interested in reading. I'm interested in reading more just to hear how the everyday general manager kind of work. Like I want to see like all the stuff that goes on this is because that was one of the things that I read. Like Billy Beane had come out and wrote an article basically saying this is a great book if you want to learn the everyday like life of a general manager. Like this is something that if you want to learn about that, like this is a great book to kind of get your teeth wet.
Yeah, here was a little bit of an excerpt that I did want to read from the book. This had to do with Jeter and Giancarlo Stanton.
Oh yeah. Oh god. I have a feeling I know which one.
Yeah. So let's see. This says Yankees legend and current Miami Marlins part owner and CEO Derek Jeter did a good job of pissing everyone off upon taking control of the Florida franchise, including once ordering the team star outfielder to quote unquote take the effing deal or you'll be stuck here forever. Tension between Jeter and Marlins star slugger Giancarlo Stanton came to a head shortly before the 2017 blockbuster trade that sent the reigning NL MVP to the Yankees. The book Inside the Empire revealed Jeter, who became part owner of the Marlins in 2017 with a 4% stake, didn't call Stanton when he won the National League MVP award, and also didn't meet with him after buying the franchise, which was one of the first signals to the outfielder that something wasn't right. And here's where some of the Stanton quotes come in. I was ready for the worst, which it was, Stanton said, adding that if that's how you want to treat someone, then there's no playing nice. I had more than enough. Stanton was a star with the Marlins, but his massive contract made him a luxury the rebuilding franchise couldn't or didn't want to afford, so Jeter set out to trade him. So an insider revealed to the authors that Stanton was ordered by Jeter to quote-unquote take that bleeping deal with the Giants or the Cardinals, or I promise you I'm trading everybody around you, and you'll be stuck here forever.
That's so great. I think that's great. That's such a George Steinbrenner move. That is so a George Steinbrenner move.
It is actually.
It's such a George Steinbrenner. I could see him totally saying that to Dave Winfield. I could see him saying that to him. Yeah. Be like, if you don't take this deal, I am going to trade everyone around you.
Yeah,
I could totally see that happening.
And there's more. There's some more about Jeter. It was very uncomfortable.
But I do want to say, just on that, what you were just talking about with Giancarlo Stanton, he's also full of crap. Giancarlo Stanton has made it on numerous occasions how he has said he had to go to Europe. He had to fly all the way to Europe because he couldn't take not being in the playoffs every year. He wasn't going to be in the playoffs with this team. They don't have the money to be able to do that right now. And he had to fly to Europe so he couldn't watch the playoffs. He would just fly away and just would get it because it absolutely tore him up inside and absolutely killed him inside. He's full of crap that he didn't want to take a deal and move somewhere else that is truly how he felt. So, you know what, Giancarlo Stanton, slow your roll with, all of these comments because you're kind of, fighting yourself on this one. Go ahead. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay. I think the other thing that was interesting was about the contract negotiations between Cashman and Jeter when Jeter was, getting towards the end of his career, and he had nowhere else to go.
Right.
He wasn't going to go to another team, and Cashman knew that. Cashman was not going to bid against himself,
right,
or make the Yankees bid against themselves.
I think it was smart by both people. I mean, they just kind of fought with each other because Jeter wanted more money, and Cashman was like, "I can't." Yeah,
they did. I think I wonder how much
there's nothing wrong with asking,
because most of the excerpts that seem to be coming out so far are like these tell-alls about Derek Jeter. And look, do I think that Derek Jeter was an angel or the biracial angel that he's was pegged to be and other guys? No, we all know he wasn't. We all know that behind the scenes he was a playboy. Which was, by the way, nothing wrong with that whatsoever.
He was single.
People who hold that against. First of all, he was single. He was single in New York. Mm-hmm. That actually just goes to show how smart he was, not getting married, living in New York City. That's all I got out of that.
Yeah,
was that he was smart. I think he played it right, and then he got married to a smoking hot woman when he retired. So good for Jeter. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to read the book. Maybe I will. Like I said, I'm actually more interested in reading Howard Stern's new book, which comes out in May, called Howard Stern Comes Again, which is just a hilarious title for multiple reasons. But if you listen to Howard Stern, though, his evolution as a human being and as an interviewer has been tremendous, especially over the last 10 years. So I'm actually really looking forward to reading that. But yeah, I mean, I think Klapisch and Solitaire will be an interesting book. There's another Yankee book coming out, I think, that David Cohn co-wrote with, who was it? He co-wrote a book, too, that's also coming out very soon. That I actually might be more inclined to read that one because I love Cohn. So.
Interesting.
A lot of good books coming out.
All right. Well, I definitely want to check this one out because I'm very interested about the whole GM side of things. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. But that's pretty much it for our show today. You can always find us, on Facebook at facebook.com/ShaneandtheBryman. We'll be posting this video a little bit later. We'll be posting it again, the actual recorded version. And then we'll also be posting the podcast side of it as well, where you can find our podcast anywhere podcasts are played, or visiting the website at www.sportsandsorts.libsyn.com. You can visit us on Twitter at Shane and Bryman. You can subscribe to us, follow us, tweet at us, whatever you want to do. And you can find me on Twitter at Einhornisfinkel.
You can find me on Twitter at _Bry_man.
And anytime if you want to email us, you can do that too. ShaneandtheBryman@gmail.com. Go ahead and do that. That's fine. That's cool.
And on Monday's show, we will probably be doing our MLB review.
Ooh, we could do that.
I would imagine.
That would be nice.
I mean, because the season starts on next Thursday. So
yeah, that's true. It does. Oh, we could do that. We could do a quick one. We could do a quick basically who's going to finish first in all the divisions, and quickly break down because we only have 40 minutes or so. Quickly break down all the rankings where we think they're going to finish. Maybe not records and everything like that, but just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe, depending on what the division is. I like it. Maybe, and then after that, maybe we could even pick on Saturday. Maybe pick our early favorites for MVP and Cy Young.
Yeah,
we could possibly do that. I like it.
Yep.
I'm in it to win it.
I like it a lot.
All right. Thank you guys for listening, watching, however you took this in. We really appreciate it. And, again, subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can find us just Sports and Sorts. Type it into the search bar. It will pop up. Click on our subscribe button, and it will notify you. You can even hit the little ringer. It'll notify you every time that we go live, which is usually every Monday and Saturday at 10-ish a.m.
Yep.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. However you do.
Stay classy,
Peace out, guys. Go enjoy us this weekend.
And thanks for stopping by. But mostly stay classy.
Mostly stay classy.
Thanks for stopping.
Stay classy?
Stay classy.
Who put a question mark at the end of that?
You're a dirty pirate hooker. You look like a blueberry.
Oh, man. Good times.
We've done studies, 60% of the time, it works every time.